Eddie stood before the towering Space Force Recruitment Center. His heart pounded. He clutched his duffel bag, a knot of fear twisting in his gut. Doubts swirled in his mind. Was he really cut out for this? Could he handle the pressure, the danger? He swallowed hard, pushing those thoughts aside. There was no turning back now. The automatic doors hissed open. Eddie stepped inside, the air conditioning a stark contrast to the humid air outside. The lobby buzzed with activity. Recruits, all shapes and sizes, milled about, their faces etched with a mixture of anxiety and anticipation. The air crackled with nervous energy. Eddie took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. He had taken the first step. The registration process was a blur. Forms to fill, fingerprints to be scanned, endless lines to wait in. Eddie felt lost in the sea of faces, each recruit just another cog in the vast machine of the Space Force. A stern-faced officer barked orders. Recruits scrambled to obey. The atmosphere was one of absolute order, of unquestioning obedience. Eddie felt a surge of anxiety. He was just an ordinary kid, out of his depth. Hours crawled by. Eddie finally reached the front of the line. He looked at the officer, a woman with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She scanned his documents, her expression unreadable. A wave of nausea washed over him. This was it. There was no turning back. He was committing himself to the unknown. The physical evaluation was grueling. Eddie pushed himself to his limit and beyond. He sprinted until his lungs burned, his legs screaming for mercy. He struggled through obstacle courses, his muscles aching, sweat stinging his eyes. All around him, other recruits faltered, their faces contorted with effort. The instructors, hardened veterans, barked encouragement and criticism in equal measure. After the physical tests came the briefing. The images flashed on the screen, stark and terrifying. Alien warships, sleek and menacing, filled the void. Devastated planets, their surfaces scarred by war, served as a stark reminder of the stakes. The briefing officer's voice was grave, his words a chilling reminder of the threat they faced. Fear gnawed at Eddie's resolve. He had never thought of it as real before, as anything more than a distant threat. Now, the danger felt immediate, overwhelming. Days bled into weeks. Eddie threw himself into the rigorous training regime. He learned to operate advanced weaponry, to pilot nimble fighters, to fight in the unforgiving vacuum of space. His body grew lean and muscled, his movements honed by endless drills. He learned to work as part of a team, to rely on his squad mates as they relied on him. The instructors pushed them relentlessly, demanding perfection. There were moments of doubt, of overwhelming fatigue, times when Eddie wanted nothing more than to give up, to go back to his old life. But then he would remember the faces of the people he was fighting for, the images of the planets laid waste. He would remember the oath he had sworn, the duty he had embraced, and he would push himself harder, determined to honor his commitment. Despite his progress, Eddie couldn't shake the feeling that he didn't belong. He saw the natural talent of the other recruits, their effortless grace in combat simulations. He saw the confidence in their eyes, the unshakable belief in their own abilities, and he felt a gnawing sense of inadequacy. Was he good enough? Would he ever be more than just an average soldier? One evening, after a particularly grueling training session, Eddie found himself confiding in his squad mate, a veteran named Sergeant Miller. Miller listened patiently, his weathered face etched with understanding. When Eddie finished, Miller simply nodded. He told Eddie that everyone felt doubt, that it was part of the process. What mattered was how you faced that doubt, how you used it to fuel your determination. Eddie excelled in weapons training. He had a knack for it, a natural precision that impressed even the instructors. He could dismantle and reassemble a pulse rifle in his sleep. He could hit a target the size of a pinhead from a kilometer away. He became known for his marksmanship, his ability to remain calm and focused under pressure. The instructors took notice. They pushed him harder, challenged him with increasingly difficult tasks. Eddie rose to the occasion, his confidence growing with each success. He wasn't just surviving anymore, he was thriving. He was becoming a weapon, a valuable asset to the Space Force. One day, during a live-fire exercise, Eddie's squad came under heavy fire. They were pinned down, taking casualties. Eddie, acting on instinct, took command. He directed his squad mates, using their strengths to cover their weaknesses. He fought with a ferocity that surprised even himself, his training kicking in. Their counterattack was swift and decisive. They neutralized the enemy position, securing the objective. Casualties were light. When the dust settled, a figure approached Eddie. It was Commander Vargas, the legendary hero of the Epsilon Quadrant campaign. Vargas looked at Eddie, his face etched with respect. He told Eddie that he had shown exceptional leadership, that he had the makings of a fine soldier. Those words, coming from Commander Vargas, ignited a fire in Eddie's soul. He was no longer the scared kid who had walked into the recruitment center all those months ago. He was a soldier of the Space Force, forged in the fires of training and tested in the crucible of combat. He had faced his fears, conquered his doubts. He had found his purpose. As he stood on the parade ground, the setting sun casting long shadows across the assembled ranks, Eddie felt a surge of pride. He was ready to face whatever the galaxy threw at him. He was no longer just Eddie, the recruit. He was Eddie, the warrior. The fight for the future had just begun.